Welcome to the ranch. We've been hitting some record lows. We've had some crazy weather here in Texas, and I mean, you can see it all around me. It's just as white as you can imagine. Some of you may even start singing White Christmas, and this would be a great time to do that. But in this episode, we're going to focus on giving you an update on all these animals. The good thing about these animals is even when it's weather like this, their bodies are made to adapt, and you can see that they will find any way necessary to do that. Take a look at Larry laying back here in the hay bale. Not only is he out of the wind, staying warm, but he's also getting a snack while he's chilling out. By now you've probably seen the other videos we've done about hay, including this roll that we have right here. We know that it takes a lot of work to go out and get the hay back to the different properties, and right before the snow and ice hit, we had to go get this trailer filled up. And so this is the last roll that we have. And the reason why we needed to have this hay was so that we have plenty of food for these cows. It's super important to make sure that on these cold snaps and these long extended period of time with cold weather that we're able to keep the calorie intake for the animals. Right here behind me are all the cows right now. They're enjoying their hay. They're getting them calories in. Right back here we have a protein tub. This protein tub gives them a little bit of extra nutrients that they need that they can't get out of the hay. And this is what helps sustain them through the cold weather. And so while one roll would probably last about 5 days with all the cattle that I have right here on our ranch, we've gone through 2 rolls in about 4 days. And so they're really taking in this food, but it's important for them to do that so that they're able to withstand the cold weather that's been here. Now again, we had single-digit weather and even reached down into the negative numbers with wind chill taken into consideration. So when we're looking at these cows, what we're looking at right now is right along here on this side, right in front of their hip bone, so right about this area, is their stomach. One of their stomachs. And what we want to make sure is that they are full. Just look at the overall demeanor of the cattle. We see that they're mooing, they're communicating, and even now while it may be funny to see that they're urinating, that's good because it means that they're taking in the moisture that they need, in particular water. All right, so I'm looking at the body condition of the cow. You can see that her ears are out to the side. She's attentive. This is what we look at all the time. If you've ever watched our bottle calf episodes, you'll see that this is the same behavior I look for. So even though it's single digits outside or low freezing, this is what you want to see. An alert look. Her ears are out to the side. We also look at the bodies, because if they're retaining their heat, they're not going to be shivering and shaking. And so even though it's cold out here, they're acclimated to it. Even though it's only been about a week long, she's acclimated to this weather, just like I'm acclimated to it. I don't have a heavy jacket on right now because my body's used to being in this weather. So the first night, they were kind of a little iffy. They didn't want to come out of the barn, but now you can see everybody back here is out and about, even the little calves, and we check them the same way. We check for their body condition to make sure that they're not shivering, that they're not shaking, making sure that when there's precipitation like snow or ice, that it's also gathering on their back to make sure that they have enough fat content as well. Now the fat source is really important for a cow, and the reason why is because when you look at a cow that is in the winter and you see a layer of snow or ice on their back, some people may think that that is a bad thing, that they're cold. But in reality, if they have ice and snow on their back, what that actually means is that they are retaining their heat properly. And that's a good thing to know, that a cow is having snow and ice on their back. That tells me a lot about the animal to make sure that they are eating what they need. So their fat layer is maintaining the heat of their body. Now, an illustration that you can look at is if you look at the rooftops of a community that just snowed, you'll see snow on the roof. And what that indicates is that the heat from the house is not escaping through the roof, but the insulation is keeping the heat inside of the house. And that's the way you have to look at a cow when it has snow or ice on its back, is that it is able to maintain its heat and withstand the weather. And so even though sometimes they may look like they're miserable, the reality is that they are comfortable. Their temperature is up. But that goes back to making sure that they have the right amount of food, making sure that they have the proteins that they need and the minerals that they need through supplemental sources like protein tubs and mineral blocks. You see the pond. The pond it's pretty solid. And of course, being in single digits and the wind blowing the way it does down here in Texas, especially out in the open here, it's going to help take the heat off of this very quickly. So the concern I have with a pond like this is the fact that the cattle don't know where the edges are. And so they could very easily walk out into this pond, into the center or wherever it's weak, and they could fall in. And so we don't want that to happen, because their body would handle it the same way mine would if I walked out there and fell in. And that is that I would drop into hypothermia. I may or may not make it. Well, the thing is that if the cattle are out here at nighttime, I won't know that they're out here in the water. And they may not actually be able to get out. They may freeze and die in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the cattle off from this area here so that they don't take any chances of walking across it. And that way I don't lose any cattle, because cattle are very valuable and we do not want to lose any, especially to a pond that they can't even drink out of anyway. Now, I just mentioned to you about the pond and about the cattle walking across it, but you can see right here that this is all broken up, and there's a lot of footprints down here which indicate to me that the cattle have indeed walked across the pond, or at least tried to, and so that is very concerning to me. Now over here we can see some more evidence that somebody, or one of the cattle I should say, not somebody, it better not be one of the kids, have attempted to walk across here, and we don't want to take any chances of any cattle walking across this pond. As I'm walking back to the barn, I wanted to take a minute to give a special shout out to Chris and Lindsay, who sent us a stabilizer for our camera. And you know what? This was really awesome that they thought enough about us to send us a gift like this. And so I just wanted to say thank you for that. And hopefully this will make the videos even better so that you won't see my shaky arm or bouncing up and down while I'm walking. So right now I'm walking. It's stabilized. Looks pretty good from my angle, and hopefully it'll look even better. But again, I just wanted to take a few minutes right there and just say thank you, Chris and Lindsay. You can see all the ducks and the chickens just hanging out back here. Even though it's cooler, they're able to maintain themselves with the calorie intake, the additional food that we're giving them, and them just being able to walk around and kind of take care of themselves. Let's go over here and take a look at them. They're all kind of self-regulating. They keep themselves away from the wind. They get behind windbreaks. And some of them, in particular, if I can get him in the camera, this one down here is a Muscovy. The other day when I put water out for him, he was enjoying the water to the point where he started bathing himself in single-digit weather. So these animals are built for the cold. They do well. They have done well. So anyway, so I'm going to give them a little extra feed as we've been doing through the night, just to make sure that they're okay. You know, that's the big concern that we have, is making sure that all the animals have enough food, and it includes all the birds. And yes, we'll even put some extra food out for all these little birds down here. Now I'm going to go ahead and get some feed for the pigs and get them a nice hearty meal, if you will, to get through another night of cold, and hopefully this will be the last night of these freezing temperatures. What's up, everybody? Everybody's looking for their food. We want to give them plenty of food to keep their calorie intake up for a couple reasons. One, because we want to make sure they're getting through the cold weather, but also because they're going to be processed soon. We want to make sure that they're nice and fat, and so I'm checking their sides and make sure that they're nice and round and that their sides aren't sunk in, so they have plenty of food. And we also look at the pigs in general when we're looking at cold temperatures like this, that we want to make sure that they're not shaking and shivering either. And so with the amount of food we've been feeding them, and then the housing situation as far as putting a lot of straw where they're laying, they've been doing wonderfully. Now it's really important for us to make sure that her calorie intake is up as well, because not only is she trying to stay warm through these cold days as well, but also because she is expecting. And you can kind of see her belly right there. And she's probably got about another month or a little bit less before she drops her next litter. And so we got to make sure that she's getting enough calories to keep warm, but also because she's got all them precious little piglets growing inside of her right now. Well, you can probably tell by my clothing changing as we're making this video, but all the animals are fed and the temperature is dropping out here. It's getting really cold again. So I'm gonna go ahead and pack it up. I got a little bit more to do before I go inside to get warm, but I gotta get these animals some water, get the cattle some water to make sure everybody's situated. But overall, everything has been working out really well. Even with the bad temperatures, all the animals have survived. We have had 0 loss, which is awesome. That's a testament for the hard work that's being done around this farm, and it's not just me. It's all the family, all the kids are out here every single day. It's a lot of work, but everybody is putting in a good day's worth of work to make sure all the animals are cared for. We really appreciate you taking time to watch this episode, and we look forward to you coming back to join us again on the next show that we put out for you to see. I hope that you're enjoying this. If you are, share it with people. We're growing, and we cannot grow as a channel without you telling people. So share it with people, tell them about it. I hope that it's entertaining, but also educational. So until next time, give us the thumbs up, share it, leave those comments. We love to hear from you. We love to comment back, and sometimes we even get into a dialogue back and forth, and we really enjoy that. So thank you for taking time to do that. Until next time, peace. And then you got this smart aleck that's up in the doggone hay. I tell you what, even the cameras are freezing up. How much that hay bales cost? And this guy just keeps getting in there.
You getting the zoomies?
This is how you know when you have good animals. Right, baby? This one will follow me around everywhere. Yep, you can't stay there. You're in front of the camera. You always have one smart aleck in the group, and it's this one right now. Getting in the hay instead of just eating it like a normal cow.
You can probably do it. Okay, we're gonna have to
Got it, yeah, baby. I just needed to channel my inner John Williams. Hope you're watching, John! See, I wanted to take a minute to say, John, even now... Oh, never mind. Now I'm gonna go eat lunch. That's cold. It's like polar bear plunge.
What happened here?
Oh, you want me to tell
Just tell me what happened.
The water temperatures got so low that even the freeze protection wasn't able to stop it from freezing. And so the splitter split in half. And once everything thaws out, the water just, the pressure from behind just pushes it out. And thankfully we had some help out here where they witnessed the water and came and got me. And so that's how you fix it until you can actually fix it. If you can find parts, depends on if it's that old. My
Alright.
toes are